We live in a country that is based on the rule of law and the due process of the law. But when we are confronted by these acts of extrajudicial disappearances and killings, it makes a mockery of all that. So you're faced with a question as in who is the real terrorist? Because it appears like now the security agencies are applying terrorist tactics to counter terrorism. Because we have a specific legislation to deal with the terrorism, that is the Prevention of Terrorism Act. And there is nowhere that it provides for disappearance of suspects and extrajudicially eliminating some of the suspects. So if the security actors feel that the laws are insufficient, then we have parliament where these issues are supposed to be fronted so that we can have better legislation to fill up some of the loopholes. So there is no way now, we are left in a crossroads to choose who is a more sympathetic terrorist. So basically, as put by my sister, is that this is typically impunity, and unfortunately, it has been sanctified by those in authority. Because it's a contradiction of sorts where you find an abduction has been recorded, you have details of the motor vehicle, and you also, in a way, you can even identify the people who are doing this. Like we have Athman Mohammed Haj, who was abducted on the 16th of January 2020, and the video clip has been taking rounds, and Mr. Kinot has not given any update on the progress so far. And that's why you rightly did put the question as in how many promises is the leadership going to be given on the action to be taken. But I also agree with my sister that the persistence, the pressure, this time around might yield some results.
Before we go to the persistence and the pressure, from your answer, I just want to understand one thing, Wakili. From your answer, are you trying to, by any chance, confirm that we may have some of these people taking part in some of these atrocities or acts that are not allowed? By any chance, are they affiliated?
Come again, I didn't get affiliated as in?
Affiliated by some of these acts that are not allowed. Talk of crime, talk of any other act whatsoever. Are you trying to allude that some of these people who have disappeared or who have been killed or massacred illegally, are you trying to allude or rather say or insinuate that they may be involved in a way or affiliated in a way or another?
You know, we have a standard practice. If indeed we live in a civilized society, you are supposed to be presumed innocent until the contrary is proven. And whoever decides to engage judicial measures is trying to block the public from getting to know or to get the facts as to why they had to do that particular measure. So it remains a secret. So it's only within their minds and souls. So we don't know why. We can only speculate.
So irrespective of the situation, the rule of law should be followed. That is presumably innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, that's what we see when people in the A-Light club in our community, whenever they're arrested, and they have a battery of lawyers behind them, and then we are reminded that the rule of law must be respected. Then it must be applied evenly.
across the board.
Across
Well
the board.
said. Thank you so much. Before we get another clip by SUPKEM's chairman, Hassan Olenado, I just want to come back to my sister in studio, Zainab. Zainab, you see, you're going to diversify, you're going to break down, you're going to go down to the Monanchi, to the people, because you say you're going to sustain this advocacy until you see it to the end. What is the strategy this time around?
We are going to use online channels. We are going to use word of mouth. We are going to use mosques and churches and markets and entertainment places. We are going to use all the means possible, all the legal means possible to ensure that people understand what Chapter 4 of the Constitution of Kenya entails and why they have a duty, responsibility to defend human rights. When we talk about human rights, we are talking about rights for everyone, individuals and communities alike. For people to understand that if it's your neighbor today, it might be you tomorrow. And you just never know how or what criteria they use to target. Given a very recent example of yesterday evening, when that young man was being shot, I doubt in anyone's mind within the vicinity or in that neighborhood, would they ever think that he would die in that manner? Although the area, Mathare, has recorded high numbers of such killings to an extent that it's not quite a surprise anymore that someone will die by the bullet, even having done no offense.
Kianjokoma activism was one of the most successful activism, of course, courtesy of social media, and perpetrators were brought to book. Is that the same strategy you're planning to use?
I caution because Kianjokoma is dangerous. If you remember what happened, there was violence involved.
Yes.
However, on the flip side, the community is seeing that that strategy worked.
Exactly. So if that is the strategy that you're planning to use, one, I want you to bring in.
That's not what we are planning to use. We are not planning to use violence by any means or form. We are just planning to ensure that each individual is aware that they need to defend their rights.
How are we planning to do that?
Through, as I said, we are going to use our online channels, we are going to use our consortiums, we are going to use every legal means that there is.
Do you have timelines that you have set for that?
Not at the moment. I cannot give that information as at now because we are not doing this as Haki Africa alone. We are doing this, we're in discussions with religious leaders, we're in discussions with other human rights activists, human rights defenders, and the community. So as at now, I cannot give you the timelines because we are in discussion with other key stakeholders.
Thank you. Wakili, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but based on the answers and the discussions and my research on this topic tonight being a very sensitive topic, I could not come up with a better answer or analysis or theory that we are living in this dark era because one, people are dying, two, people are killed, three, people are disappearing. The suspected perpetrators are claiming innocence, saying that they do not know. Even if someone is abducted by a GK vehicle and then the DCI comes out and says that we do not know. And it's true, we do not know. Do they? Maybe just someone who stole a GK vehicle or stole a GK number plate, put it on a vehicle, went, did the act and disappeared. So we cannot actually ascertain that it's the GK who did it, right? So things are happening. We found bodies. We find people who are lost. In essence, people are disappearing. People are being killed. All this is happening, right? And we don't know the perpetrators. So we're living in this constant fear. If anything, I think it's more of a moral, societal, structural decay. We've lost morality, we've lost citizenry, because we've lost humanity. We don't really care. That's why someone can just walk out and just, boom, pull a trigger on somebody. like Athman. May Allah have, thank you, Idris. May Allah have his soul, mercy on his soul. Right? We have such things happening. And there is nobody to pin down at the end of the day as a suspect or as a perpetrator on this. This is nothing but a moral decay, according to me. Of course, it's a criminal activity, but it's a moral decay. Wakili, do you think that is right? Do you think I'm right by that?
I not only think that you are right, but the statistics will back you up. Because since even before independence, and coming all the way from independence, we've always have these ugly incidents. But it's only this time around in the guise of fighting against terrorism that we've hit a climax. And unfortunately, it's like it's going overboard. Like like the incident that you've just referred to, whereby the residents of that area where the two boys were killed, they had to turn violent for justice to be done. It's quite unfortunate that citizens have to resort to such type of activism for them to be given attention. But we also live in denial, and there is a lot of contradictions amongst ourselves. You see, when the hands are pointing towards the security agencies, and the same security agencies state that they are not the ones, and at the same time they're the ones who are supposed to investigate and find out who are the perpetrators, then why don't we get results? Because it's not possible to investigate oneself. Otherwise, if it is some other criminal element, then it will imply that our security agencies lack capacity. And that will be quite unfortunate after all these years of independence and all the support that they get from taxpayers and from donors.
Wakili,
so I think we're just living in denial.
What would you suggest then as solution moving forward based on that?
Yeah, we need to have a national conversation around this issue so that it's either we all agree to live within the realms of the law, or people decide to live in their own islands.
You go banana way.
Otherwise, they will end up not having a country.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much. Zainab, anything that you want to add on that?
One of the key recommendations from us as civil society, as Haki Africa, to the security agencies, we are saying we are not condoning any type of crime. We just want you to follow the law. If I am a thief, arrest me, take me to court, and let the flow, the rule of law take its course. But when you kill, what you're doing is you're radicalizing many other. You kill one, you radicalize 100 or even more. This heavy-handedness in handling criminals or suspects, or for whatever reason, some are even innocent Kenyans dying, what you're doing is radicalizing. And that is what we are fighting as civil society. We are going to the ground, talking to youth, telling them, don't be recruited, don't be radicalized. But their actions are not countering violent extremism, but are countering livelihoods, countering peace and security, and not violent extremism.
Nice. Thank you. As I'm enjoying a cup of tea here, brought, of course, by my brother Hassan, Zainab Karibu chai as well.
Asante.
My brother Furqan, this is what you're missing, man, if you don't come to our studios. You know, Mombasa studio, so I hope Sheikh Muhammad Mbwana is going to take good care of you. Muhammad, if you can hear me, I know you're there. Tafadhali msaidia ndugu yetu na chai. Sisi wana Horizon wakarimu sana. Thanks so much, Hassan, for the tea. So I'm going to sip my tea here in the studio as we are watching what Hassan or Renado had to say earlier on today. Please, Suleiman, take us through. Ibrahim, do you have? Sorry, I think we're having a problem there with, as you can see, the camera just got me off guard, man. I was trying to show them like, hey, you can't hear anything. I don't think it's going to be fixed, but as it's being fixed, I think it's time to funga virago na kuondoka maana muda haupo nasi tena. Yeah, the video is back. So Suleiman, I think we can bring the video back.
By the constitution of this country and other laid down protocols of securing this great country of Kenya. We have got a commitment from the DCI that they are going to give us, going to get to us in the next 1 week or so on the level of the investigation they have undertaken to ensure that those Kenyans who have been actually picked up by suspected security people in the streets of Nairobi and Mombasa, we are going to receive a full comprehensive report from them in the next 1 week or so for us to be able to communicate with the Kenyan people. On our side as Muslim leadership, we are committed to ensure that the rights of the Muslims of this country is protected. We are not going to take for granted, we are not going to take anything less than that. We want to ensure that Muslims, as other Kenyans, are safe as they carry out their day-to-day duties of their livelihoods. Thank you.
Have you spoken to him about the issue of Abdul Wahab?
Yes.
Aware of it? Has he launched investigations?
Yes, actually that is one of the things that Mr. Kinoti has committed himself, and he has actually said that in the next few days, in the next 1 week, he is going to get back to us on the level of the investigation that they have been able to undertake within that period. Not only that, Abdul Wahab, we also have a gentleman who was, in Lamu, who was abducted in Lamu. The driver is, Mr. Yasir also, who disappeared in June of this year. We also have a brother, Mr. Zakaf, right, who was picked after evening prayers in Mombasa, and many other people who have actually disappeared in the same manner. We expect a comprehensive response from the DCI in the next few days. Very grateful that this.
Thanks so much, Suleiman Tumbo, and kama nilivyotaja hapo awali na wakati kufungasha virago, maana jamvi ndo sasa twalikunja. Jamvi la live real talk twalikunja maana muda haupo nasi tena. Zainab, I'm trying to speak Swahili. If you're good at that, you can probably offer tuition.
Could be.
I know Furqan by the time he's leaving Mombasa is going to be an expert in that. Furqan, I'm going to be your first student of Swahili. Basi tuanze kupata maneno ya mwisho. Furqan, Chacha, if you don't mind, you can just give us your parting shot as you're winding up on our conversation tonight. Furqan. I guess we're having a problem again. Sorry guys. Matatizo ya kimitambo, right? That's what they say. Basi tunapata matatizo na hitilafu za kimitambo katika usiku wa leo hapa ndani ya studio za Horizon TV tunapozungumzia masala ya vifo vya kiholela na kupotezwa kwa watu viholela. Ndugu yetu Furqan Chacha kutoka county 001 tumeweza kumpoteza kisauti kidogo, lakini kama tunavyorekebisha basi tuweze kumsikiza mwanadada Zainab Kombo ambaye Kombo tupo na studio. Zainab.
My parting shot would be that Kenyans need to realize human rights is not for advocates, it's not for civil society, but for all of us. And these rights are inherent. And therefore, we need to protect, promote, and defend human rights. It is our individual duty to defend, protect, and promote human rights. Because if you don't, the next day, it might be, God forbid, it might be one of us.
Okay, I've heard you. Hypothetically speaking, I want to take part in it. Hypothetically speaking. Half of the audience who are watching us tonight. Sasa nimekusikia na nataka kujiunga na activism. So how do I go about it, especially on matters and forced disappearances and extrajudicial killings? How do I go about it and take part in your new strategy?
Number one, if you see such a thing, you can use what you have to get what you want. If you properly use your smartphone, for those who have smartphones, you're seeing someone being picked, document. If you can take a video, of course you have to be careful. If you can take a video, post it on Twitter and we'll retweet. Take this word out there, tag the IG, tag all the security agencies, duty bearers who have the responsibility to ensure individual security of Kenyans. So that is how it starts. Tomorrow you see someone being beaten, say something about it. And that's how you begin. They can follow us, they can follow many other human rights organizations through Twitter, Facebook, and many other social media platforms. And through our hotlines and many other avenues of accessing us. Of course, our offices are located in Mombasa, Nairobi, Voi, Lamu. You can walk in our offices and either report a case or say that you want to join activism, and you'll be guided.
Thank you. And of course, as you're visiting those offices, kindly just try and, alhamdulillah, I've been gifted with all this. These are reports, man, annual reports. The amount of information in these books, goodness. Zainab, can they access it online as well?
Yeah, some of them are posted on our website.
Please go and get these books. Go and get the information in these books is just mind-blowing. I could not finish reading them. I'm still going to read them. They're very small books, but again, it takes a lot of time because you just need to pause, think, comprehend. Sometimes empathize, put yourself in that position or situation, and then you can be able to understand what they're talking about. Furqan, Chacha, naelewa ya kwamba tumeweza kurekebisha mitambo zetu za mawasiliano hususan katika mji wa 001 Mombasa. Naomba utupe parting shot yako tafadhali.
Yeah, my parting shot will be that it is quite unfortunate that the citizens of this country are crying out loud on extrajudicial killings and disappearances, while the people that they elected to represent them for the purpose of legislation are mute. Because the question will be, the legislators need to approach all the stakeholders. If there are loopholes in the law that have forced security agencies to resort to draconian ways of doing things, and then have the laws fixed up. Because these arrests that lead to disappearances and killings have always succeeded because the citizens have been obedient, with the belief that the police has a right to arrest. But it might get to a point whereby people will now start resisting arrest, and basically we'll be getting ourselves into chaos. So this conversation needs to be sustained and taken to all quarters that my sisters mentioned. And it's not a Muslim thing. It's a human thing issue, a human rights issue.
Wow.
That's my parting shot.
Thank you so much, Furqan Chacha, for amazing words right there, Asante sana, and thank you so much for making time for us this evening as well, and your valuable contribution onto this amazing topic that I hope you have benefited back there at home as I have right here in studio in terms of information, experience, and new perspective as well. Thank you so much, my dear sister, Zainab Kombo, for making time for us this evening. Inshallah, we're looking forward to get more of you right here in studio, inshallah, for the benefit of our viewers back as well. Asanteni sana. Thanks so much my amazing panelists. Thank you so much kwa wale wote leo uweze kufanikisha kipindi hichi, kuanzia mwelekezi wangu, kuanzia wapiga picha na vile vile wanao those operating basically in the those operating back there, wana mitambo. Asante sana from Ibrahim Mohammed, Hassan Idris, Saida Abud, Salma Salim, the editors, and of course, everyone who took part in making this program as it is, Aban Shehemi and your crew, Muhammad Utoya. I cannot forget you guys, Asante Nisan. And of course, to the most important person who made this program possible. That is you, our viewer, who kept tight with us throughout the hour as we were discussing this topic. My name is Faisal Kassim. See you next week, same place, same time, as we will be discussing something else. But I cannot finish without saying one thing. Keep it live, real talk, because very soon, something is coming up. Please, just keep it there, live, real talk. This is Faisal Kassim. See you next week, same place, same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.